It's 6:30. You're live here on GHOne TV. This is News Tonight, and I'm Natalie. For a look at our top stories this evening. Coming up tonight, NPP assesses 120-day social contract, calling it a catalogue of failed promises marked by persistent power cuts, worsening economic conditions, and failed Galamsey fight.
24-hour economy, attention!
IGP indicates readiness of the election task force in providing needed security for recollation of Ablekuma North constituency results.
From guard against any attempt by anyone to distort this process through threats or violence.
Also ahead, EIB Network's multiple award-winning senior journalist Ridwan Karim Dini Osman heads to Harvard as Nieman Fellow. History unfolds as Cardinal Robert Prevost becomes Pope Leo XIV, the first American pontiff elected to lead the Catholic Church. Details as U.S. President Donald Trump congratulates the new Pope. The details of the stories and much more news here on News Tonight. Do stay. Watching News Tonight here on GHOne TV, all across the world on Facebook and X at GHOne TV. We get started with Insight. On Insight tonight, the opposition MPP has launched a scathing attack on President Mahama's 120-day social contract. They call it a catalogue of failed promises marked by persistent power cuts and worsening economic hardship, culminating in what they refer to as a bitter pill for the ordinary Ghanaian. Now, speaking at a press conference at the party's headquarters, Minority Leader Alexander Afenyomarkin dismissed the president's recent national address, describing it as a hollow display of self-congratulations that fails to reflect the lived realities of many Ghanaians. He argues that key promises such as banning illegal mining, slashing import duties, launching mass employment programs, and implementing a 24-hour economy remains a mirage. Obed King-Gaglu was at the press conference and reports.
On Wednesday, May 7, 2025, President Mahama delivered a national address highlighting what he described as fulfilled commitments under his social contracts, a document of 25 major pledges he committed to within the first 4 months of his presidency. But the opposition MPP has accused the government of betraying the trust of the electorate by choosing political expediency over genuine transformation.
We have a government that is rather creating more unemployment than employment. We say this is not inclusivity. This is not inclusiveness. This is ideological cleansing. This is not a present for all. It is a government for only the NDC. We have two Ghana now. The Ghana for the NDC, where only their parties foot soldiers enjoy.
Minority Leader Alexander Afenyomarkin also questioned government on its commitment towards the fight against illegal mining.
The president who accused Nana Akufo-Addo's administration of inaction on illegal mining and promised decisive action offers excuses. The government's inaction on illegal mining is not just disappointing, it is a betrayal. The promised state of emergency has vanished, replaced by silence and inaction, while the sector minister sheds crocodile tears on national television over sorry state of our rivers, forests and farmland. This is not leadership.
The minority leader also called out the energy minister for failing to solve Dumso.
So we have a Dumso Pro Max. The last 120 days, we have seen persistent power outages, low voltage, and silence in the face of national inconvenience. Not a single moment, a single day has the energy minister addressed the Ghanaian people on the energy crisis. Where is the energy minister? Is he lost in this darkness? We are taking a torchlight looking for the energy minister. We cannot find the energy minister. Mr. Energy Minister, where are you?
He further ridiculed the government's approach to the 24-hour economy policy, arguing that the formation of yet another committee to steer the program only underscores its lack of direction and seriousness.
24-hour economy at Tonsium. You promised that you were going to create the enabling environment for businesses to thrive. This should find space in your first year budget. If you really mean business, in your first year budget, that should feature. The government has failed us. Government of lamentation, government of talk, and less action.
Minority leader Alexander Penyumaking also downplayed the recent appreciation of the Ghanaian cedi, stating that its current strength is not as a result of any exceptional economic policy by John Dramani Mahama.
The dollar is weakening not because the cedi is strong, but because investors are losing faith in the greenback itself. So this is not an NDC miracle. This is a global monetary turbulence. This is currency recalibration on a planetary scale. So I'm telling the finance minister, go and pay the suppliers.
Contrary to claims by the NDC on its performance on its 120-day social contract, the minority is accusing government of failing abysmally, accusing it of prioritizing showmanship over substantive policy delivery. For GHOne News, Obed King Gaglo, MPP Headquarters, Accra.
Obed King with that report. Now joining us over Zoom is Chief Executive Officer for the Ghana Investment Fund for Electronic Communications, who also speaks for the NDC. That's Dr. Rashid Tanko Computer. Good evening to you, sir. Thank you for joining us here on News Tonight. Now, you have heard the concerns of the MPP as per the 120-day promise by President John Dramani Mahama. Let's start off here. We've recently had the Ghana cedi having been named as the world's best performing currency. That's by Bloomberg. The MPP says that the NDC cannot quite take credit for the performance of the cedi against major trading currencies. What's your general sentiments on that comments made by the party?
Yeah, dear, let me say good evening to you and your cherished viewers. You see, this group of people, they are confused. MPP is confused. There's a confused party. The party itself is confused, is including, and so they seem not to understand what is going on currently. I strongly believe because of their 38%, something is still wrong with their thinking capabilities in terms of understanding the economy and what happens to the cedi. So who should take the credit? We came into office, we put in measures, we put in prudent economic measures. You remember we had economic committee, a meeting to look at dialogue, to look at the economy as a whole, and come out with prudent policies that will make sure that we arrest the downtrend bequeathed to us by the NPP. As we speak now, the cedi is doing 13.35 interbank rate. So who should take the credit? Of course, John Dramani Mahama should take the credit. He has done the yeoman's job. That is what is confusing them. Because they have a lot of dollars in their rooms. They have created a lot of bank in their rooms, under their beds. So they are hot. They are confused. That's why they are talking about. In any case, look at the social contract we entered into Ghanaians for the 120 days that we promised them, that things that we are going to do. Haven't you achieved them? They should look at it. He knows very well. He's a lawyer. Afenyo is a lawyer. He knows very well what he's talking about. The issue of the 24-hour economy. Is it only to be implemented within 120 days? It's something that we are going to run for the rest of the years that we are going to be in government. And so therefore, the legal framework has been put together. Everything has been set. We are just waiting for Parliament to come. Even some agencies have even started implementing it. We know DVLA is running 24-hour economy as we speak now. Go to Adenta. They have a very plush office. And I must say, GFEC is part and happy to be part and parcel of this novel idea, because we provided them laptops and desktop computers to start the 24-hour economy. It's working.
Now, Dr. Computer, other promises that he touches on are banning of illegal mining, slashing import duties, launching the mass employment programs. You say that you've achieved all that you promised in this social contract within this period of days?
Of course. In our 120 days, we didn't say we're going to ban illegal mining. Nobody says so. They should point out. They should go and take our manifesto and read. If they can't read, they shouldn't worry people years. We said we're going to put in enable processes to make sure that we nip in the bud this evil thing that the NPP bequeathed to us. You have destroyed the forest for use 96 months, 8 years, to destroy the forest cover and destroy our cocoa industry. And somebody just came in, he's trying to salvage the little that is left and put them together within 4 months, and you are already talking, you are already crying, as if, you see, they are behaving as some spoiled brats. That is what they are just behaving, as if this country belongs to them. This is the kind of people we should call her. That's why I always describe her as a bunch of hypocrites. You see, they know these things. His Excellency John Dramani Mahama is on top of his issues. He knows what he's doing. He has the benefit of hindsight of being a former president, and he's not just coming to do try and error thing. He's not doing any try and error governance like they tried by using 126 ministers. For the first time in the history of the Fourth Republic, we had the leanest government. Leanest government. He had 56 ministers. We promised 60. We are doing 56 as we speak now. Tell me, since 1992, which president has ever done this kind of thing? And the things that we have done, they themselves are enjoying. The minority, they go to the pump. Fuel prices have come down. There is no more betting tax. There is no e-levy. Are they not enjoying it? They are living testimonies to this. Some of them, their life has changed over the night because of the prudent economic policies that we have put in place. They are living testimonies. But because of some difficulties in their understanding of the economy, and that's why I always put it out there. Ghana, as of now, we have two challenges. The first challenge is how to develop the country, because these people have destroyed every facet of it. And the second challenge is how to manage NPP as a party. These are our two difficulties in this country, because they are just becoming unbecoming and seems not to understand anything, because they think the country belongs to them and they can just rough shoulder with anybody and get away with it. They should come to terms. Whether they like it or not, better economic policies are in place. His Excellency John Dramani Mahama is doing fantastic job. Guta just issued a statement about 3 days ago, thanking the president and telling him that he should continue what he's doing because their businesses are back to full stream.
Now, Dr. Computer, you say that the President Mahama, in your words, is doing a fantastic job, but one concern that affects the lives of ordinary Ghanaians is the current power situation. There are complaints among ordinary Ghanaians as well, which the minority touched on. What's the state of that issue, and why the issue in the first place, and how is it going to be handled?
When ECG imported transformers and cables to replace the old cables and the old transformers, Honorable Afenyo-Markin, as the chairman of ECG board, sat there and allowed these containers to vanish into thin air. He should be the last person to be talking about problem of Dumso in this country. He should be the last person. He presided over it. He sat through and allowed these things to perpetrate on the good people of Ghana. As we speak now, we are still chasing people over that thing. If they had used them to replace the worn-out cables and then the heavily burdened transformers, we won't be where we are.
So you're saying that this is the reason for the current power situation?
You see these transformers going off and on. It's because the load on them are just too much. And government needed to replace all these things. Government needed to do that. Apart from that, generational problem in terms of fuel. These people left only one week cover of fuel when we came into office. It has to take the magnanimity of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama to send a team to Nigeria to quickly work around the clock to save the situation in Ghana. Why were there certain traps for the NDC? If these people are not evil, why were there certain traps? There were certain traps for the NDC government so that when we take over, the country will come to, now it will ground. That's what they were trying to do.
Dr. Computer,
But
so
we
if
managed
I
to
understand you
dodge
clearly,
the
you're
traps.
saying that the current power situation is as a result of traps set by the MPP when they
Of
were
course.
in power.
Of course, they did it. Didn't you see that a committee was also set to investigate the problems of ECG and then the debt that is left for ECG? All these problems, these MPP guys set those traps. But you see, we are smarter. His Excellency John Dramani, he's been a president before. He knows what he's doing. And thank God we are even having the lights now. What the traps these guys have set, if we hadn't gone around those traps, the whole country would have been in darkness for several months. But thank God His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, having been in government before, he knows how to run around their traps. And then they'll come up, because things are getting better, they will organize themselves, if not a bunch of confused people, to come and be talking of the minister has run away, the minister, you are Fenyo Market. Where are our containers? Where are the containers? Containing the transformers and the cables. Where are they? They should be telling us where they are.
Just generally speaking for the NDC, what are we going to see? What improvements are we going to see within that sector? I know, of course, you're not the minister per se, but then speaking for the party, what's being done to resolve some of these power challenges?
In fact, the minister is not sleeping over this. He's all over the place with his team. They are putting things together to make sure that these things are nipped in the bud. And I can assure you, the minister is on top of issue. And he knows it, everything. The national security is very much aware of what the minister is doing. They are in tandem and they are working closely to resolve all these problems. I can assure you, look, it's an exciting time to be a Ghanaian under His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. He will resolve it. There's not going to be any doomsday crossing into third quarter. I can assure you, because the minister is seriously working on it, and the government is on top of that matter. Because of the traps these guys set and stole some of the items that was supposed to help us salvage this doomsday matter. They stole them, and some of them have been arrested, yet to be prosecuted, and they are there talking.
So you say by the third quarter of this year, the administration will resolve the doomsday issue. We would not experience doomsday by third quarter of 2025.
I can assure you, because the minister is seriously working on it. He doesn't sleep. He's a young man, and he knows the importance of lives. That is why he quickly, before even he was sworn in, he had to rush to Nigeria, spoke with WAPCO group, and then to make sure that we have flow of gas through the West African gas pipeline to power the generators and all that. I mean, he's been seriously working on that, and the boss are just being put together. ECG, that of VRA, Greco, all of them will be put together pretty soon, and I can assure you, this thing, they are going to work assiduously, and Ghanaians will enjoy their fruit of labor. That is what we are going to do for them. They are going to have the best of governance, and we will make sure that we respect them for who they are as Ghanaians. We were not going to lord ourselves over them and then call them names. Like their time, when they were running Dumso, and Ghanaians asked their then running mate, who was then the energy minister, we were looking for timetable. What did he tell Ghanaians? He told them, you can go and write your own timetable. This was the kind of arrogance they were perpetrating on the good people of Ghana. This is not what we are doing currently. The minister is there, he's explaining the issues, and he's making sure that he will resolve the matter. I can assure you it's going to be resolved pretty soon.
Dr. Rashid Tanko, Computer, thank you for your time this evening. Chief Executive Officer for the Ghana Investment Fund for Electronic Communications, also speaking for the NDC. That does it for Insights. Do stay with us here on News Tonight. Welcome back to News Tonight here on GHOne TV, and some more news. A confidential memo from the embattled former National Signals Bureau boss, Kwabena Edu-Boahene, has implicated members of parliament on key committees in the alleged disbursement of 960,000 Ghana cedis in 2020-2021 as allowances for enacting National Signals Bureau Act. The letter also indicated that an additional 309,000 Ghana cedis going to the Subsidiary Legislation Committee in 2024. The revelation has sparked widespread debate about the integrity and independence of Ghana's parliament. Now, joining us via phone is the principal lead at Odekro, Nehemiah Atiga, to further discuss this issue. Good evening to you, sir. Thank you so much for joining us here on News Tonight. Now, first of all, in your view, do you believe that payments of this nature can compromise the independence and ethical integrity of parliamentary committees?
I mean, yes, because if you are enacting a legislation and you are being either encouraged, motivated, or influenced by the entity or an individual who has interest in it, you may want to sway or toe the line of what the person's expectations are, and so that is borderline ethics when it comes to accepting such payments. However, it's not something that is new. Globally, you find legislators accepting such payments, and sometimes it may not even be in the form of allowances. It could be in the form of sending them to fancy hotels to have the conversations or to work on that particular legislation. And so it's something that happens quite regularly when people who have interest in particular legislation would support the committees with some sort of allowance or some sort of facilitation in terms of creating that environment that is conducive enough for the members of parliament to go and sit and deliberate and be able to come up with the legislative instruments and all of that.
Right. Now, you say that globally you find some legislators accepting these sums or gestures. However, is there any legal, procedural justification for MPs to receive these sums in connection with the passage of legislation, even when one has an interest in it?
No, it's not. I mean, definitely there can be something that will be spelled out as a norm where it's acceptable, because it truly is not. Because, like I said, if this happens, then what is going to happen is the committee or the persons who are responsible for enacting all of these legislations will then be somewhat influenced by the entity or the individuals who have interest in a particular legislation. So it's not something that will be spelled out to have like a legal process of doing this. If it was something that is done on the table for everyone to see, you would say that, okay, well, I'm interested in a legislation that will support scholarships, and so I'm funding them to go and stay in Saint-Chi for the next 1 month to work on this, and then I'm doing ABCD. So in my mind, I'm just facilitating the process for them to do this quickly. But again, whilst I'm doing this, if I snuck in some idea or some position that I have, it will be difficult for them to say no, because I'm facilitating the process. I'm seen as somebody who is supporting the process. So then they would consider that particular clause or component that I want fixed in that legislation. And so you see, it will typically be caught between a rock and a hard place.
Thank you for providing some insight on this issue. Nehemiah Atiga, principal lead at Odekro, joining us on that matter. You're still watching News Tonight here on GHOne TV. Now, tensions continue to simmer in the Ablekuma North constituency, where the collation of results has become a source of dispute, with both the MPP and NDC prematurely claiming victory. Amid this growing uncertainty, the Inspector General of Police, Christian Tete Yohonu, has made a firm but measured call to action, asking the Electoral Commission to provide a clear date, time and venue to complete the collation of the 3 outstanding polling stations. The IGP indicates the National Election Security Task Force is ready and waiting on the EC for a clear roadmap and timelines.
At a high-level national security meeting in Accra, involving the country's top security chiefs and stakeholders, Inspector General of Police Christian Tete Yohonu addresses what he described as a pivotal test for Ghana's democracy.
History often reflects on nations tested by pivotal moments. This is such a moment. The way we handled the situation in Ablekuma North will resonate across the country. It will set the tone not only for this election, but also for public confidence in the years to come.
With both major political parties locked in a premature victory contest, the IGP emphasized that security agencies are not referees of electoral outcome, but guardians of the democratic space.
We as security agencies are not arbiters of election results. That responsibility lies solely with the Electoral Commission. We have to secure the environment within which the truth is determined, not to decide the outcome of ourselves.
The IGP demanded a clear roadmap detailing the date, time, and venue to enable the security apparatus to provide the needed protection and ensure calm.
We will guard against any attempt by anyone to distort this process through threats or violence. Let us secure not just ballot boxes, but also believe in the system. Let us protect not just physical lives, but the spirit of democracy. Let us stand firm, not in confrontation, but in conviction. Ghana deserves nothing less.
In response, the Deputy Director of Operations at the Electoral Commission, Samuel Tete, expressed gratitude to the National Election Security Task Force assurance for the task.
We are grateful to the National Election Security Task Force, and we hope that as a commission, as we engage each other over here, we will actually have solutions to the challenges that we've actually had so far as the conclusion of the Ablekuma North collation process is concerned. Will bring to an end the issues surrounding the challenges due to the collation of the process.
The eyes of the nation are indeed on Ablekuma North, and as the Electoral Commission prepares to finalize the collation, the actions or inactions of all stakeholders will shape the narrative of this election.
Now, in a message directed at residents of the Ablekuma North constituency, the chairperson of the National Commission for Civic Education, NCCE, Kathleen Addy, has issued a statesman-like reminder, urging all to embrace the outcome of the 2024 election as declared by the Electoral Commission. The message underscores the importance of respecting democratic institutions and understanding that winning and losing are integral parts of any electoral process.
That we are in a democracy, and elections is part of the democratic culture and system. And in every election, there is a winner and a loser. There is no middle ground. There's never been. Even in the general elections, we had a winner and we had a loser. So I want to urge the people of Ghana, particularly the people of Ablekuma North, to accept the results as declared by the Electoral Commission. This is the way to build the democracy. We cannot continue to insist that we have won all the time. That is why we have institutions that have proven track record of credibility. So I am urging all of us to conclude the 2024 election completely by accepting the last set of results that are going to be declared for Ablekuma North. For politicians, I'm sure they all understand that we live to fight another day, isn't it? It's not the end of the world to lose, and it's actually not the end of the world to win as well.
And some more news here on News Tonight. The director of the Judicial Training Institute, Justice Amadou Tanko, has underscored the critical role of continuous judicial training in promoting fair, timely and responsive justice amid global changes. In a speech read on his behalf, Justice Tanko stressed that such initiatives reinforce the core principles of judicial responsibility and global accountability. Legal Affairs correspondent Murtala Inusa reports.
The training on international judicial cooperation is a collaborative initiative spearheaded by the Scholar Superior Santana in collaboration with the Ministry of Justice of Ghana and the Judicial Training Institute. Financially supported by the Italian Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, the program is designed for selected justices of the High Court, Circuit Court judges, and magistrates in Ghana. This initiative also underscores the need to build judicial capacity in international cooperation mechanisms. Justice Kweku Tewia Akabuafo, a justice of the Court of Appeal and a faculty member of the Judicial Training Institute, who represented the director of JTI, Justice Amadou Tanko, said the training presents an opportunity for judges to reimagine their role in an increasingly interconnected judicial landscape. He also encouraged participants to approach the training as a moment to reaffirm their collective commitment to justice without borders.
To my learned colleagues participating in this program, I encourage you to embrace this opportunity not as a routine exercise, but as a moment to reimagine your role as a judge in an increasingly interconnected judicial landscape. Let this be more than just a training. Let it be a turning point, one that reaffirms our collective commitment to justice without borders.
He also expressed gratitude to partners of the Judicial Training Institute for their unwavering commitment to the growth and the development of Ghana's judiciary, while wishing participants a meaningful and enriching learning experience.
On behalf of the director of the Judicial Training Institute, therefore, I extend our deepest gratitude to our partners for your unwavering commitment to the growth and development of our judiciary.
Mira Benucci, project officer of Scholar Superior Santana, underscored the significance of the two-day sessions.
As judges, you are entrusted with the critical task of ensuring that justice is done, not only within national borders, but also in cooperation with our international counterparts. As His Lordship Justice Akabuafo was saying, the complexities of modern legal systems require us to master international legal frameworks and cooperation mechanisms.
The two-day event, which is expected to end on Friday, May 9, 2025, seeks to enhance judicial competence in navigating the landscape of international judicial cooperation, aligning Ghanaian judicial practice with global standards and legal frameworks.
On to some other headline stories this evening. Big news in the world of journalism today. EIB Network's multiple award-winning journalist Ridwan Karim Dini Osman has been named a Nieman Fellow at Harvard University for the 2025-2026 academic year. He's the only African selected to join this year's prestigious global cohort of 22 journalists. This year's cohort includes journalists from the New York Times, Los Angeles Times, the Washington Post, NPR, The Guardian, and Bloomberg News. Dini Osman, a senior broadcast journalist at GHOne TV and Star FM, will spend the year in the U.S. studying how African newsrooms can better report on marginalized groups despite legal and cultural barriers. Known for his bold, impactful reporting, Ridwan has dedicated his career to telling stories that matter and has reported from across Africa, the U.S. and Asia, covering issues such as global health inequities, social justice, and sustainable development. The Nieman Fellowship, now in its 88th year, allows journalists to take classes at Harvard, collaborate with top researchers, and explore the future of journalism. EIB Network's news editor, Alice Ayite, says the team is proud of Ridwan's achievements, calling it a major milestone for Ghanaian journalism on the global stage. The fellowship begins in August this year. Congratulations once again to our very own Ridwan, Karim, Dini, Osman. Certainly very great news there in the world of journalism. You're watching News Tonight. We've got business news next. Business news tonight. The Ministry of Labour, Jobs and Employment, in collaboration with the Ghana Statistical Service, is launching a nationwide survey to investigate the mismatch between qualifications and skills among employed individuals. The initiative is seeking to address the gaps between academia and industry needs, ultimately enhancing the alignment between education and the job market.
The month-long survey, set to commence in early June 2025, aims to measure qualifications and skills mismatches among employed individuals. Conducted by the Ministry of Labour, Jobs and Employment in collaboration with the Ghana Statistical Service, the survey will generate statistics to inform measures on labour underutilization, including unemployment, time-related underemployment, and potential labour force. The acting chief director of the ministry, Botelenoy, is confident this will inform policy directions to bridge the gap between the academic and employment sectors.
As a lead policy maker on employment and labour-related issues, this ministry recognizes the critical need for comprehensive data to address these mismatches. The KSMS will be Ghana's first nationally representative survey to measure these gaps across formal and informal employment sectors, informal policy, and align education with labour market needs.
Director of Research, Statistics and Information Management, Shadrach Mensah, indicates that the survey findings will enhance productivity, ultimately contributing to the country's economic growth.
Collect and collate detailed occupational and educational or training data of individuals, employees of establishment to assess the level of skills mismatch in sector within regions across the country. 2. Assess the level of skills available and used within the various sectors in the region. 3. In collaboration with stakeholders such as Ministry of Education, use the data to inform the design of labour market programs.
The Ministry of Labour, Jobs and Employment and the Ghana Statistical Service are therefore urging employers, employees and the general public to cooperate with field officers as they gather data across the country.
That's all the business news we've got for you this evening. Do stay with us. More news shortly. You're welcome back. Some more news this evening. The Minister of Defense, Dr. Edward Omane-Boamah, has commended the U.S. government for its support to Ghana's security sector through the donation of 14 armored personnel carriers to the Ghana Armed Forces. Speaking at the official handing over ceremony, Dr. Omane-Boamah emphasized that the equipment will significantly enhance the military's operational capacity, particularly in counter-terrorism efforts and the ongoing fight against illegal mining.
I wish to express my profound gratitude to the government and people of the U.S. for this generous and, I must add, strategic gesture. This occasion is not just a symbol of the enduring partnership between our two countries. It is also a tangible expression of our shared commitment to peace, stability, and security within Ghana and across the West African sub-region. Your Excellency, this generous donation will go a long way in strengthening the operational readiness of the Ghana Armed Forces. These highly capable, mine-resistant, ambush-protected vehicles will enhance troop protection, mobility, and effectiveness in counter-terrorism operations and internal security efforts, including the fight against illegal mining, Galamsey. They are not only assets for national defense, but instruments for regional peace and global solidarity.
In some more news, Education Minister Haruna Idrisu has tasked the newly constituted Governing Council of the Dr. Nieman Technical University in the Upper West region to urgently address the institution's persistent accommodation challenges. Speaking at the inauguration of the council, the minister emphasized that inadequate student and staff housing continues to hinder academic progress and overall campus life, urging the council to prioritize sustainable infrastructure development.
Since its establishment in 2016 to provide tertiary education in various fields, including engineering, manufacturing, science and technology, technical and vocational education and training, TVET, and applied arts, the Dr. Nieman Technical University lacks on-campus accommodation for students. During the inauguration of the newly constituted 19-member Governing Council of the WA-based tertiary institution, Education Minister Haruna Idrisu stated that the absence of hostel facilities is not befitting of the university. He charged the new council to take immediate steps to address the accommodation issue in order to expand access and make the university more attractive.
One of the only universities in Ghana I note without a hostel. So that naturally makes you unattractive, both to students and to parents. So Chair of Council, is one of the matters we should give priority attention to. I'm happy to know that the Ghana Tertiary Education Commission has been tasked to make an allocation this year for the construction of a 600-bed capacity hostel for the school. So this year you should see some commencement of work.
Beyond the accommodation issue, the minister also expressed concern over a range of issues, including labor disputes that affect academic work. The Tamale South MP further charged the council with the responsibility to resolve these matters and to also ensure the appointment of a new substantive vice-chancellor.
Industrial disputes or conflict, as I've observed, is inevitable. We'll continue to have some of it. What's important is to manage it and allow for peace and harmony to prevail on our campuses. I'm also aware that the tenure of the Vice-Chancellor expires 31st May 2025. I've been advised accordingly. And Chair of Council, mindful of the instability that the vacuum may create, and I'm aware of agitations arising associated with the seeming vacuum, I've tasked GTEC to initiate a search process for Council to appoint a substantive Vice-Chancellor once inaugurated.
In response, Chairman of the Governing Council of the Dr. Nieman Technical University, Professor Julius Febel, pledged to elevate the university's image to new heights.
I will definitely, leverage this diverse expertise and diverse perspective to bear upon the governance and the growth of the Dr. Hilary Nieman Technical University. I pledge on behalf of the Governing Council to lift the image of this university to standard that is acceptable across the globe.
Unity Link Financial Services has donated $11,000 to support the Heal Komfo project, a major health initiative championed by the Asantehene Otumfuo II. The donation was officially presented at the Menchia Palace during the Ewukudai Festival celebration on Tuesday, May 7. Ashanti Regional Correspondent Isaac Justice Bediako has more in this report.
Chief Executive Officer of Unity Link Group, Harry Wodrago, presented the check to the Asantehene Otumfuo II. He expressed the company's commitment to contributing meaningfully to the renovation and modernization of the Komfo Teaching Hospital. He said Unity Link is pledging not only short-term support, but also looking to provide long-term collaboration with the palace.
We've presented a check to the project Heal Komfo. Unity Link, a proudly Ghanaian-owned money transfer company, is proud to be in support in collaboration with the chiefs to heal Komfo.
The Unity Link Group CEO is encouraging members of the diaspora to rally behind the project, which aims to transform the region's premier medical facility into a world-class health center. He noted Unity Link looks forward to a private discussion with the kin to further explore ways of deepening their support. Mr. Odrago also extended belated birthday wishes to the Asantehene and expressed appreciation for being granted an audience during the ceremony.
I would encourage all diasporans, especially those with Ghanaian roots, to look into this project and really support that project. We at Unity Link are pledging to be part of that project, not just in the short term, but in the long term. We're in talks with the executives to see how we can enhance what they're doing in regards to the Komfo project, and that will be briefed at a later stage. Happy belated birthday. Wish you well. The king is looking well, and we're grateful that he granted us the audience today. And we hope for a private audience to go into more detail about our support for the Heal Komfo project.
The Heal Komfo project, launched by Otumfuo, seeks to renovate and upgrade the nearly 70-year-old teaching hospital to provide improved healthcare services to millions across Ghana and West Africa. The entire project is estimated to cost $10 million.
Watching news tonight here on GHOne TV. Next, we've got some international news. Top news across the world this evening. American-born Cardinal Robert Prevost has been chosen by the conclave to be the next pope. He will be known as Pope Leo XIV. Here is a brief biography about the new pontiff of the Roman Catholic Church.
Francis Prevost, born on September 14, 1955, in Chicago, Illinois, has been elected as the 267th Pope of the Roman Catholic Church, taking the name Pope Leo XIV. He is the first American to ascend the papacy. Prevost earned his bachelor's in mathematics from Villanova University in Pennsylvania and went on to receive his diploma in theology from the Catholic Theological Union of Chicago. He was later sent to Rome to study canon law at the Pontifical St. Thomas Aquinas University and was ordained as a priest in June 1982. Later in his career, he taught canon law in the seminary in Trujillo, Peru. He also served in other capacities there, including as a parish pastor, diocesan official, director of formation, seminary teacher, and judicial vicar. In 1999, he returned to Chicago and was elected provincial prior of the Mother of Good Counsel province in the Archdiocese. 2.5 years later, he was elected Prior General of the Augustinian and served 2 terms until 2013 in 2.5 years later, he was elected Prior General of the Augustinian and served 2 terms until 2013. In 2014, he returned to Peru when Pope Francis appointed him Apostolic Administrator of the Diocese of Chiclayo. He was elevated to Bishop of Chiclayo in 2015. While there, he also served as a vice president and member of the Permanent Council of the Peruvian Bishops' Conference from 2018 to 2023. While there, he also served as a vice president and member of the Permanent Council of the Peruvian Bishops' Conference from 2018 to 2023.
Here's a portion of Pope Leo's first address to the excited waiting crowd.
La pace sia con tutti voi.
Peace be with you all.
Fratelli, sorelle carissimi.
Dearest brothers and sisters,
Questo è il primo saluto del Cristo risorto.
this is the first greetings of the resurrected Christ, the Good Shepherd who has given up his life for God. And I should also like this greeting of peace to enter our hearts and your families and to all those people, wherever they are, all peoples throughout the world. Peace be with you.
Questa è la pace di Cristo risorto.
This is the peace of the resurrected Christ.
Una pace disarmante, umile,
a humble and perseverant peace which comes from God, God who loves us all unconditionally.
Ancora conserviamo nei nostri orecchi.
Let us keep in our ears the weak voice of Pope Francis that blesses Rome.
Well, U.S. President Donald Trump has been reacting to the election of the first American pontiff on Facebook. Now, this was his Facebook post. Congratulations to Cardinal Robert Francis Prevost, who was just named Pope. It is such an honor to realize that he is the first American Pope. What excitement and what a great honor for our country. I look forward to meeting Pope Leo XIV. It will be a very meaningful moment. That's from U.S. President Donald Trump. Well, joining us now is Reverend Father Dr. Michael Kojo Mensah, the Catholic priest. Good evening to you. Thank you so much for joining. Now, in all the analysis following the death of Pope Francis, Robert Prevost didn't quite appear as a strong contender for the position of Pope, did he? What do you make of his election? Please do carry on. We can hear you.
So good evening and good evening to your listeners. But I didn't quite get the last part of your question. If you can kindly repeat it.
Right. So I was asking what you make of his election, given the fact that he didn't appear to be quite a strong contender following the passing of Pope Francis.
Well, good evening once again. I think that many had warned, that the criteria, perhaps, by which some people put certain candidates ahead was not necessarily what was going to play out in the conclave. In fact, there is an old Italian adage that anyone who goes into the conclave as a pope comes out of the cardinal. So this is it's not too surprising for the watchers, that to a certain extent we were surprised. Now, let us not forget that the same thing happened in the case of Pope Francis. Not everyone was expecting a pope from Latin America, and that's what we got. So it happened again in the time of John Paul II. Nobody was expecting a Polish Pope when there had not been a non-Italian for 400 years. So I think that this is sometimes the way it goes, and it reminds us that the cardinal electors are perhaps looking more at, the global church. They're looking at, the situation of the entire global community, and they are asking who is the man at this point to be able to address, the concerns of the church and those of the global community. So I think this is how it has played out.
Right. Now, talking about the global church, I know that the Catholic Church prides itself as a universal organization. However, there are many who try to also draw some political link to the election of the first American pontiff, looking at what's happening in worldwide politics. Any merit to this? If you could briefly respond to it, please.
I have to say that, it is interesting, even for, the secular commentators on the matter. Let us remember that this is perhaps the point at which America is not the most attractive, in terms of global politics. We know about, the trade wars. We know how many people are closing their doors to America. In fact, just yesterday or today, I was reading an article that was speaking about how a number of countries are clamping down on the American passport. So you can see that, as the Italians will call it, controcorrente. That means that the conflict has actually gone directly against the normal, secular current of things. If they were just watching global politics alone, they might have been saying, well, let's stay clear of an American because America is not that popular at the moment. But on the contrary, the conclave has gone for an American pope in the most unlikely times, and this is what I wish to underline. But at the same time, this is a person who, though he's American, has spent a lot of his time, outside America, leaving America and stand very early, perhaps at the age of 30, as a missionary to Latin America, coming back to Rome and presiding in the Congregation of Bishops, where he would have had a global view, of the universal church, and being an Augustinian, meaning that, he was in this already international religious order, and interacting with people from all over the world. So, yes, he is American, but also Peruvian by nationality.
Very well.
And therefore, we can't just put it to some of the things that are being said.
Reverend Father Dr. Michael Mensah, thank you so very much for your time this evening, joining us on that issue. And that is how we draw the curtains on News Tonight this evening. Thank you so much for making the time. Lots more news is available on our website, starfm.com.gh. Was produced by Bernice Abubedu Lanza. I'm Natalie Fort. Have a wonderful evening.